Good morning guys, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to I think this is part 6 of our Monday Marathon e-waste processing video. I only have the one box again this week. We're not really sure what's in it, so we'll go through it and sort it out and see if we can save this stuff from going into the waste stream, all from a local charity shop. I like to save as much as I can because they would just take it to the transfer station, which is fair enough. They have no way of testing it or that sort of stuff. I'm going to go through this, see what we can do with all the stuff. I did, again, find something to flip, only the one item this week, which is a stainless steel, it's a strainer, I guess you'd call it. Really good condition, actually quite weighty, it's not flimsy. It was just in the dollar box at the charity shop, so I reckon I can get 10 for that. So that's my item to flip this week. And we'll go through the box here and see what we can save, see what we can maybe fix. We might scrap some stuff. Who knows? Let's have a look. We'll also go through the lists from the previous weeks and just see how we're going. Let me know if you don't want to see that. I don't want to fill the video up with just looking at lists of stuff and saying what I've sold. But I think a lot of you that follow this stream might actually like to know, how much does actually get returned back into circulation. I'm not sure what these are. They look brand new. TS51-02, remote control compatible for and a few different brands. Beto Bay, Newport, Southport. I don't know. Remote controls for something. They look like new unused. Are these air conditioner remotes? They have a clip to mount, a bracket to mount on the wall. Fan off, light off. Oh, they might be just ceiling fan remotes. Remote controller installation instructions. Ceiling fan remote control. Okay. Well, that's interesting. There's no scrap value. They're mostly just plastic, but they're brand new. They might be able to be sold. Are they all the same? TS5102. Yeah, they're all the same. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. This one's been opened. Maybe just to do what I've done and have a look. Yeah. So we have 4 brand new ceiling fan with light remote controls. So I'll have to check out eBay. They'll be good ones to sell on eBay if they're worth the effort, but certainly they'll be easy to post. Brand new in box makes them easy to sell, assuming they have a market and assuming you can't buy them super cheap through the manufacturer anyway, because if they're only like $5, that's not worth the postage. In which case, we will probably just put them out to e-waste, which is a shame, but I suppose at least we can take the cardboard boxes and put them in the recycle bin. Okay, we'll check those out after I do a bit of checking online. I will reuse the plastic bag. Okay, we have, this looks like a skipping rope. Oh no, it's an iron cord. I guess you could skip on an iron cord. It's been dropped and it's bent at the top. I think it has. Unless it's no, I think you normally use the points when you're ironing to get into little corners, so I reckon it's been dropped. The sole on it's not too bad. Often they miss all the Teflon, it gets scratched off. That one's not too bad. It's a Sunbeam, so it's a better brand. I wonder if I can straighten the end. The cord looks a bit woolly, which is why I thought it was a skipping rope, but it doesn't appear to be damaged. The plug's okay. I reckon that one's worth testing. Being a Sunbeam, it's better than your super cheap irons. It's a steam iron. It doesn't look to be damaged other than perhaps it's been dropped. So we'll see if we can straighten the end. Worth putting on the tester. We might get at least $10 for it. Not really much scrap metal value in irons. Just the heating plate is cast aluminium. All right, we've got a bit of a tangle here. This looks like a hair appliance. Is it a curler? I'm not sure. It is a curler, a hair curler. Home & Co, probably a fairly budget Kmart type brand. Looks in good condition though, nice and clean. The cord's okay. I think that's worth giving a test. And we'll check out online to see what they're worth, but I would be thinking we'll get at least $5 for that, maybe even 10, as long as it tests safe. I thought this was a base for a kettle, but it's actually some kitchen scales. Now these will just be battery. There's no batteries in it. A little bit of corrosion there, is there? Needs a bit of a clean up. The actual terminals look okay. So it's a 5 kilogram kitchen scale. We'll find some batteries for that. We'll give it a bit of a clean up. Hopefully it works. We should be able to sell that fairly easily. All right, a sandwich maker. We get a lot of these in... oh, it's not sandwich. Are they? What's that for? Sausage rolls? Don't you cook them in an oven? Anko brand again. Oh, it is a sausage roll maker. Okay, it's quite stained. The inside's not too bad. It's just a bit dirty. I wonder if that staining will come off. It might be worth a quick clean. Doesn't look damaged. So we might clean that up. Again, we can give it a quick test. Everything looks okay as far as the cord goes. And here we have another of these things, Pastry Creations. This is a pie maker. I've had a few of these recently and they've sold okay. Again, it's a bit dirty. It hasn't been cleaned up very well, but it doesn't look scratched on the Teflon or anything. Quite stained again. Just depends really how easily that stain's going to come off. I don't want to spend half an hour cleaning something just for $5. It's a Breville, so it's a bit better brand. Oh yeah, that's quite dirty though. Still, we can check it out. Hopefully it cleans up fairly well. Cord's okay. Because I could probably get $5 to $10 for it. So I'd rather sell it, even if I don't make a lot of money for my time, than throw it out. An extension cord. Now, my rule of thumb with extension cords is I usually just throw them in the... chop the plugs off, throw them in the copper wire bin. Usually, if the plugs are the older style without the insulating sleeve, that's my deciding factor. I will chop the plugs off that and we'll get some insulated copper wire value for it. If the plugs are newer and have the insulation sleeve, as long as the cord's not too grubby, obviously I've got to check it for nicks or breaks or whether it's been squashed. But this one's easy. It's older. It actually has been quite hot in the socket, which happens a lot when you plug something like an electric heater into an extension cord that draws a fair bit of current. Quite often the sockets and the plugs swell. They actually get hot and they can even start to burn inside. So definitely not safe, that one, just looking at the socket. So that's scrap. A little desk lamp. It looks okay. Switch works alright. Needs a bit of a clean up again. And it's an older one. Yeah, the plug doesn't have the sleeves on the pins, but probably still worth cleaning up and getting $5 for if it works okay. We're getting to the bottom of this box pretty quick. This looks like a charging dock. A wireless charge. It's Anko, cheap brand again. We get a lot of Anko stuff. So I guess it's easy to check that to see if it charges my phone up. Has a USB input. Well, a USB cord, but do I have the plug that goes into there? I'm sure I've got some at the shop anyway. That's not it. That suits something different. All right, I'll have to find one of those cords. It's not the USB-C. It's the one with the flat side on and the angled corners. It's the one before the USB-C. I'll find a cord for that and we'll check it. We have some of these USB chargers, and I do sell a lot of these. I just give them a quick check to make sure they work, and I'll put them in a tub at the shop for $3 each. $3 isn't much, but a lot of people grab them, so much better than... well, I really get no value for scrap out of those. So $3 each is $9 there. That's worth grabbing. That looks like a piece of Lego. So it's certainly not electrical. I've got a little box at the shop where I put random pieces of Lego in. Eventually, when it fills up, I'll sell it. Logitech keyboard. There's that, got the top broken off it. It would have had a top on it. Oh yeah, very scuffed. Oh, actually that might have even been a screen. But pretty sure that's just e-waste. We might open that up just for interest's sake. The back of it is aluminium. And just see what sort of motherboard it's got in there. That's the end of our box. Oh, we do have a little wire tie. I always hang on to these because when I'm cleaning up things and folding the wires up to sell them, I've got plenty of ties to reuse. And the only other thing in the box is a little black spider. So we'll tip him outside where he'll be happy. Okay, let's work through these things for a start. These are the actual US plugs, not Australian plugs. So they're not much good here. And no one's going to use one of these with an adapter. So I'm probably just going to put those in the e-waste now. But I do get a lot of the normal ones that plug into Australian plugs that have the angled prongs. And I do sell lots of those at $3 each. But unfortunately, maybe that's why these ones were dumped at the charity shop. because someone had no use for them. All right, I found a cable to plug into here. Now, I found out, I didn't even realise, the lid opens and it's a steriliser for sterilising jewellery or your phone, just with UV rays. Seems a bit of a gimmick if you ask me, but anyway. I did check them out online. They're very cheap to buy. So this will only be $5 if it works. Let's see if the charger works. Yep, there we go. So that's good. Steriliser, apparently you can sterilise your phones, and that does fit in there. I've got to push this button. There we go, green light's on. So I don't think you're supposed to open it while it's working, but let's see if there's any visible light in there. There's not, but I guess UV isn't visible, is it? So that seems to be working fine. I don't know if it's on a timer or something, but and when you open the lid, it actually stops the UV. So, oh, all right, it appears to work. Does it feel cleaner? Sterilised? No germs? Maybe. All right, so that works. And turn it off. Okay, I think that's off. So yeah, it certainly works as a charger. So I'm just going to put $5 on it. Whether the UV steriliser actually works or not, I don't think it's really the selling point of it. $5 for a wireless phone charger, and I'll find a cable to go with it. So that'll do. We'll just give it a wipe over, and we can take that to the shop. Okay, let's give this iron a test. We'll power it up through the appliance tester. Check the earth. Yep, that's all good. Is it heating up? Yes, it's heating up nicely. The light's on. Everything looks to be in order. I'm not going to fill it with water to see if it steams. And I know sometimes they can leak, and if someone brings it back and says, look, this iron leaks, I don't want it, that's fine, I'll give them their money back. But for me to take time to do that, it's just, more time. And I'm probably only going to get it might even drop to $5. So it works fine as an iron as far as heating up goes. The plate on it's pretty good. I will see if I can just bend that a little bit. I'm not sure how we're going to go there. We'll try that now and see if it works. But actually, we might wait till it cools down. But it tests out electrically fine, just needs a bit of a wipe over, and everything looks great. The cord is a little fuzzy, but it's safe otherwise. How about ironing some clothes on my anvil? Actually, it's still hot enough to do a reasonable job of ironing. But I've just put a cloth over there, and I'm going to just hit the point with a punch just to try and flatten it down. I didn't see that it was likely to work with pliers in there. So aluminium's fairly soft. It should bend okay. Okay, I've got a decent punch here. That should hopefully work. Let's see how we go. Okay, my phone nearly fell off the prop that I've put it on. Oh yeah, that's coming back a bit. We'll just give it a little bit more. There we go, that looks pretty good. I don't think anyone will pick it. A little bit marked on top where I've been hitting it, but I'll just smooth that over and maybe touch it with a blue texture or something. The heat won't hurt that, and it'll just blend the silver bits of the aluminium that I've marked. Yeah, doesn't everyone panel beat their iron? Next on the list is this lamp. Let's just turn it on through the appliance tester, and it has a globe in it. I don't know if it's blown. Let's see if it lights up. Oh, it does. Look at that. Just a small incandescent globe. In fact, it's sort of the size that you'd see in your fridge. So it's only a tiny one, only probably going to be 25 watts or something. You could easily, it's probably a small Edison screw, or it might be a large Edison screw. But you could put a LED globe in there. It works fine. No issues other than it's a little bit grubby and scuffed. We'll give it a quick clean up. I'm only going to put $5 on it, but it's a good workable little desk lamp. Next, we'll get these cords off the bench. So this extension cord, I'm just amputating the plugs, which I'll put in my bag for e-waste. And the other little USB cord we had here, I don't know what, didn't fit anything in this bag, but it's actually pulling out of the plug. So that's just snipping the plugs off that one, and that's going in with our data cable. Next item to try is this hair curler. It's got a bit of a dirty mark there, but it looks as new otherwise. So we'll power this one up. We'll check the cord first. It's okay, we'll plug it into the appliance tester. And it is double insulated, but as I was reminded from someone in the comments recently, we do need to try the earth wire on it to make sure there's no leakage through to the metal parts. So that's all test safe. And it's powered up now. Let's see if we have any warming action. I think this center part heats up. Oh, hang on, there's a switch here on. Oh, there we go. We have temperature adjustments. We have a timer. And I can feel that warming up now. So that works perfectly fine. Very good. We'll just clean that dirty mark off there. And I'll check out a price on this. What brand was it? Oh, it was a Home & Co. That's right, yeah. All right, I think they'll only be fairly cheap items. But then again, we might get $10 for it because it looks new. I'll put a safety tag on it as well. And little IPA will clean the mark off there. I think it was a bit of a sticky residue from a sticker. It may have been at a garage sale or something. A lot of times things get dropped off at the charity shop after people have had a garage sale, and anything they can't sell just gets put in a box and taken to the charity shop, whether it's safe or clean or anything. And then the charity shop have to deal with it. There we go, that looks new now. Fantastic. Just needs a tag on that one. And I'm guessing $10. I will check online to see what they're worth. Next on the list are these electronic scales. They take batteries, and I've got a couple here. There's definitely been a little bit of corrosion there, but the actual metal parts seem okay. Let's try these batteries in here and see if it works. I think these things are pretty cheap to buy, but all the same, we should be able to get... Oh, it's powering up straight away. There we go. So that's working fine. That's measuring in grams. A little bit scuffed on the top. It actually looks like it's had a lacquer finish and it's starting to peel off. So it looks a little dirty, but that's all right. We can't do much about that. So that works fine. What do my side cutters weigh? Oh, it's on 14. We need to 0. Let's zoom in so you can read that. All right. What do my side cutters weigh? Looks like 147 grams. Okay, so they work well. I may even keep these in the shed here just for weighing up stuff when I'm doing estimates on scrapping prices. I mean, I have my analog scales that you often see in the videos, but they're a bit big and bulky. These are nice and handy. So I'll keep these, but I could probably get... Look, I'd probably only put $5 on them in the shop. I think we'd get that pretty quickly. But I'll keep these because they'll be handy. The corrosion obviously doesn't impact it. I think maybe it had a leaky battery and it didn't actually get onto the metal terminals because they're not rusted at all. I'll give that a bit of a clean out with a little brush and some IPA. I'm not going to go to too much trouble. It's well and truly dried up, so I don't think it's going to corrode anything anymore. So very good. Some little scales for the workshop. Okay, next is this... oh, this was a sausage roll maker, wasn't it? I can't say I've seen one of these before. Not sure how well they'll work, but it looks fine other than being a little dirty. So let's plug it in and see if it's safe and has any issues. And if it tests out fine, it's probably worth cleaning up. All right, let's power it on. We have a power light there. The green light will come on when it warms up to a set temperature. Let's make sure we've got an earth. Yep, that's safe. So it tests fine. Is it warming up? Yeah, that is getting warm. And the top? Yep, that's all warming up fine. I'll leave that warm up to operating temperature and I'll give it a wipe out with a paper towel. I think IPA may clean up the stains on the casing fairly easily. So I think it should clean up quite well with just a little bit of effort. So the sausage roll maker cleaned up very nicely. The only trouble is I couldn't get rid of the yellowy stains, the heat stains. I've tried everything I can think of, including even some silver polish, and it's clearly stained right into the paint. It's not just a surface stain. But other than that, it presents as a pretty much a new one. It's nice and clean inside. It works great. Now we have a bit more of a challenge with this Breville pastry creation. This is the pie maker because it's absolutely filthy. I'm tempted just to chop the cord off and throw it in the e-waste, or at least scrap it and pull out these cast aluminium hot plates. But Most of the interior will clean up fine. It's just, it clearly wasn't cleaned the last time it was used. But again, this has got stains on the outside as well. So I think I'll try and clean it up. We'll just give it a test and make sure it works all right. So the cord's okay. We'll plug it into the appliance tester and turn it on. And it's powered up fine. Has it got an earth? Where are we going to earth it? There maybe. Yep, it earths fine. But yeah, as you can see, it's very dirty. So it tests okay. I'll leave it heat up like I did with the last one. It's pretty easy to clean up inside once it gets hot, but we'll have to have a go at these stains later and see if we can make it look a little bit better. I finished cleaning everything up and testing it. The Breville Pastry Creations is still a bit grubby, but it cleaned out okay inside. As I said, inside's fairly easy to clean up on these, so it looks good. There's no scratches to the Teflon or anything. You do have to be careful with the IPA. This did used to say power and ready in white lettering, and the first wipe it just took it straight off. So you have to be a bit careful what you touch with the IPA, but it wouldn't remove the smoky type stains. It cleaned up a bit better, and the cord's good. So I'm just going to put $5 on that. Everything else cleaned up pretty well, as you saw. I found another one of these ceiling fan remotes. It had fallen out of the box. It was in the van. So there's 5 of them all up. They come with the remote and a mounting bracket, instructions, and a module that you have to wire in, I assume inside the fan or where the light is. I did a bit of checking. These are unbranded, and some of them sell for $50, $60. There was actually a lot for sale online, and a lot had sold, but these are unbranded, and I couldn't find anything the same as this. And I did see them as cheap as $15 with free postage. So I don't think they're worth very much. And I don't know if these are a universal one that suit all fans. As I read out earlier, and I probably didn't show you the label, it says compatible to those brand. I guess they're brands. I haven't heard of any of them. So my options are to put them in the shop at $5 each and hope that the customers that buy them know what they're for. So we may well get an electrician in that thinks, oh, they're cheap and I know what they suit. I'll buy all 5 of them and then I can charge them out in my business. Well, that's great if he wants to do that. The other option is to try them on eBay as one group lot, or I don't know. I don't want to muck around for low value, so I'm going to try them in the shop at $5 each for a start, which brings us to our list. So I'm going to put those at $5 each. So if we do get that, we've got $25. But if they sit in the shop too long, I might just drop the whole lot on eBay, just a really quick listing and see what happens. The iron, I was going to go 10. The hair curler, I checked out the brand. Home & Co. was what Kmart used before they went to Anco. So not, I think they're only $20 new. This one pretty much is new. So we'll try and get 10. Sausage roll maker will go 10. The Breville pie maker, because it was so grubby and still looks a bit secondhand, will go 5. And the charger and sterilizer will go 5. I did check that again, and it does actually show a purple light when you open it very slightly. I did mention earlier that UV light is not visible. True UV light isn't visible, but when you have a black light like a torch or something like this, they usually have a violet type component that is visible, that you can see it. So there we go. That sums up this haul from our charity shop this week. We still have this little keyboard here, which I think I'll just rip the back off it to see. I did a quick check on this. I think it's actually a cover for an iPad. So it has a magnetic, like a swivel piece here that sticks to the edge of your iPad, and it Bluetooths a keyboard to your iPad, so you can essentially have it looking like a mini laptop. I don't think there's going to be much inside it, but we will rip the cover off just to have a look. It's don't think it's got any value at all as it is. So there we go. Our strainer I mentioned earlier, so a total of $75 all up, and really nothing. What do we have? I think there was only these. Those 3 US plug USB chargers and the plug and socket that are going to Ewaste at the transfer station. And yes, you can twist the pins to actually fit in an Australian socket, but it's certainly not recommended. So those small handful of items is all that's going out to Ewaste this week. We've saved just about everything, although we will have the remains of this keyboard once I rip the back off it. But really, we should be able to keep most of it in circulation. Okay, in the interest of curiosity, let's get into this and see what's in it. It's pretty beaten up, so even in good condition, I don't think it'd be worth selling secondhand because they're very cheap to buy, and it's probably an outdated one anyway. How are we going to get into here? I think we can bend the aluminium out from this part. Certainly not the recommended way to get into this and service it, but we don't have to put it back together. It's well attached. I think it's glued. Whoop. I think we'll get a bigger screwdriver. I think it's all glued together. And this top cover might come off. I guess I should be careful in case there's a battery in here. We don't want to pierce a battery. Oh, there is one. All right, luckily we didn't damage it. Oh, there's screws in from behind, but not from right at the back. So it's glued to the aluminium very strongly. Okay, look at that. It certainly wasn't meant to come apart easily. So there are screws through that into that part. Okay. Is the rest of it all glued together too? I think it is. That is really putting up a fight. Well, it's well glued, that's for sure. But the good news is, at least we didn't lose control. We lost plus and equals. All right, what are these? Oh, these are magnets. Okay, well, maybe it wasn't a total loss. Are these glued on too? No? Well, they have to be because they don't stick to aluminium. Okay. That's a pretty powerful little magnet. That'll be handy. I think Christine needed some of them to stick pins to her sewing machine. So we'll keep these little magnets. The glue will clean off them pretty easily. We now have one sheet of aluminium. Doesn't weigh very much at all, worth a matter of a cent or maybe even less. And our keyboard has a lot of sticky residue on the back with a ribbon cable. Be nothing in there that I want, probably just a heap of little contacts behind the keys. I have a couple of random keys that we lost. So that's it. So that can all just go into the e-waste bucket. I'll take the battery off and I'll put it in with my other batteries. Got to be careful though, we don't want it to be damaged. So I was pretty lucky I didn't put the screwdriver through it. I didn't even consider that was an option. And it's glued tight too. I'm deforming it a bit. Alright, we'll get that off later, you guys don't need to see that. So there we go, all we've got are a few little handy magnets and an aluminium plate for our scrap bins. Before we go this week, let's look at last week's results. We've managed to sell the food processor, the Anko kettle, that was the 50s sort of greenish coloured one. And we've also sold the Tonka helicopter and the sheepskin boots. Christine decided they look much nicer on her feet than someone else's, so they were taken off the table. But we only spent $1 each there, so we've still turned $2 into 10. And Christine's got some good Ugg boots or sheepskin boots for when winter finally gets here. The previous week, well, the slow cooker's gone now as well. Only leaves the slide projector, which I'm quite happy to have sit in the shop for a while, one of those cane lamps, and the blue bottle. Back to part 3, and we've still got a bit of stuff floating around. Now, I've marked a lot of these down to half price, so down to $5. We did sell one of those neon lights at 10, but I've marked the other back down to 5. The waffle maker didn't get picked up, even though a couple of people have said they would, so I'm going to mark that down to 5 for next week. So, yep, still a few stragglers in that list. And way back to part 2, we have the LG phone, the Nintendo Wii still there, and the shavers sitting on eBay, and the toast rack. So not a lot to go out of that one. So that ends this week's e-waste marathon. I'm going back through the lists as I do quickly because it makes me more accountable for what's still sitting there. I'm going to start giving some things away from the early lists because I don't want it sitting around. It's not really in fitting with the shop. I like being more of a collectibles, antiques and curios shop. I don't want shelves full of just secondhand, fairly low value electrical stuff. But, you know, people do come to the shop to find that sort of stuff now because they know that I save it. And it's just a matter of moving on really old stock. So that's what we're going to do. We'll keep running through the lists each week and just check what we're up to. A couple of things like the slide projector and that sort of stuff I might cross off and just leave in stock because they're cool items. Okay, thanks for watching. Any suggestions, leave some comments down below. If you don't want to see the lists from previous weeks, let me know. I'm making these a bit longer, so perhaps I'm waffling on a bit, but if I'm going to call it a marathon, it's got to go for a while. And if you don't want to, well, I'll watch the retention and see how many people drop off at what stage. Give me a bit of a guide as to what you don't want to see. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.